When dudes rock, they roll. Hello and welcome to the Dudes Roll podcast, where we discuss everything from D&D to everything else. I'm your host, Jake, joined as always by my co-host, Myer. Hey, Myer, what's up?
What's up? Make sure you guys check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Dudes Roll.
Dudes Roll.
That's simple, pretty simple. Keep it nice and clean, you know?
Yeah. So this is a podcast, obviously, about D&D, and we kind of wanted it to center on D&D, but also so we could branch off and do anything else we want to talk about, really. Kind of just a conversation podcast about whatever we feel like.
Yeah. I mean, we're both versed in a lot of things. I know we both have our own separate interests, I would say, but I know we do fall on the lines of very similar interests, so...
Yeah, for sure. And both of us, we live together, and we both run campaigns for our housemates and for online friends as well. And I think we're going to get into that. Myer, why don't you introduce yourself and talk about how you got into D&D, what you like about it, like when you learned about it, and like your first game or anything like that.
Well, I've known about D&D my entire life. My dad played back in like the 80s, so I've known about D&D all my life. I actually played the D&D MMO way back in the day when my WoW sub ran up and I didn't have a job because I was I was young. I was like 12.
Yeah.
So
could you like choose a race and class in that?
Yeah.
What, do you remember what you were?
I believe I was a rogue. I think I was a tiefling rogue in the D&D online.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But now my first ever session was actually with you. I've never played D&D prior to our first session that we had.
Was that when I was living in dorms?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, it was. And that person that dragged me into that was Jared.
Right, yeah Jared, who is
yeah.
also in both of our campaigns.
Exactly. But great dude.
Mm-hmm.
Love it to death.
Shout out, Jared.
Yeah, shout out. No social media, so we can't really.
That's true. Yeah, no social media. Good for him.
Yeah, we'll tell him we showed it.
Yeah.
But I loved it. The first time I ever played, I've become infatuated with D&D, as you can tell.
Oh yeah,
I'm addicted.
Anytime
to
we miss a session,
I get furious.
I get a text.
This is by far the most annoying thing to me, is missing sessions. Like sometimes I can understand, especially with the current pandemic going around. Like you got to be safe. But
yeah, we've had a couple sessions where we've missed because people have had COVID scares. Thankfully, everyone's fine. No one ever had it, but just got to be safe.
Yeah, exactly. But there was also other reasons why we miss things, and it's BS.
It's a bummer, yeah. When you miss a session, it's always a bummer, but it's all about just like you get hit, you get back up. You miss a session, you get back there next week, hopefully.
Yeah, and hopefully not a month hiatus like we have now. But
This is true. This is true.
No, but that's really all. Like, I'm a big MMO player. I've played WoW my entire life, so that's where my love for the medieval fantasy world comes from. And
right.
When I originally went to college, I was going for creative writing
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that for video games. So, just being a DM kind of all just lined up when I fucking went for it. And I didn't mean to swear, but now this is an explicit podcast.
No, we're allowed to swear. Yeah, this is.
I know we are, but I didn't expect it to come out that quickly.
Yeah, right. Let's have a dinger every time.
Yeah. Oh, we can have a swear jar.
Swear jar, yeah. We'll start a swear jar.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so when you first started D&D, when you played with me, I wasn't DMing that, but do you remember what you played as?
Oh, yes, I do. It was also named High Jewel.
Also?
Yeah. You know this.
No, I know, but
yeah,
that's kind of a leak right now. Spoiler.
Well, yeah, but I mean, no one's going to listen to this.
Whoa, and you call me the cynical one.
No one in our parties.
That's true.
No one in our parties, to clarify. Mm-hmm. But I made, actually, you know where that name came from, right? The name
No, where?
Jewel? I wrote a script in 6th grade, and the main character was named High Jewel.
And was it like a medieval script?
No, actually, it was a post-apocalyptic, mutants, elves. There was elves in there. Yeah. It was really cool. And humans, obviously, but, really cool concept. Kind of like Highlander, but better. because I'm a genius.
Yeah, obviously. 6th grade. Wow.
Yeah.
Someone give this guy a medal.
I mean, I wrote 50 pages of a script in 6th grade. Not maybe, but I was determined.
Yeah,
to,
that's pretty great.
Yeah. I actually kind of want to pull that up. But anyways, my first character was Haijul. He had a demonic last name, so it was spoken in demonic. I think it was like actually the character sheet's right there if you want to grab it.
No, that's all right.
Okay, I was just gonna try to speak it, but
it's just blah blah blah, mouthing words, right? Just
well, yeah. Well, I know how to speak demonic though.
What, you don't know how to speak demonic?
No,
dude?
I do.
Oh.
I just
know how to
have to
speak
read
demonic?
it. I have to read it. I can't just
Fluently.
Not fluently, but I know that at least, and I know what it means. But despite the point, my first character was a warlock.
Right.
And we only got to level 1, so we didn't get to mess around with it. But I've been, as we know, like one of my greatest inspirers is fucking Critical Role. Shout out to them.
Mm-hmm.
But holy shit, I love warlocks. They are so fucking sick. Like just some of the things they can do is like beyond awesome.
Right.
And I want to play a warlock again.
Yeah, I've never played a warlock. I don't think I've ever really dabbled into a magic user other than my longest running character I played was a bard, and that was back in when I was dorming like a couple years ago. But that was a lot of fun.
Bards always have a negative connotation to them because they're always the person trying to fuck everything that lives.
Yeah, and that was never my case, except for like one time where I was like, fuck it, I'll live up to the cliche, and it totally bit me in the ass. So, yeah, if you're a bard and you're horny all the time.
So don't let fellow bards down.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, be better.
Be better, guys.
Be a better bard.
Anything else you want to... So describe what your campaign is about right now.
We asked me some questions. We got to hear yours. When did you get into
D&D?
D&D? What was your first character? All those questions.
Okay, so I definitely knew about D&D my whole life, as a lot of people who dabbled in fantasy and creative writing always did. But I never was like, damn, I should really play one or actually like join a campaign until I watched Stranger Things, actually.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, because obviously that whole, at least the first season, is very much based around Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if they'll keep diving into that.
Yeah, it's kind of floated away from that. The first season is great.
Yeah.
There's no denying that, but the second 2 seasons, no matter how you feel about them, it is a dip in quality from the first season, in my opinion. But that aside, when I joined the college that we currently go to, I met some people, and through those people, I started playing D&D. And ever since then, it's been a hell of a time.
Oh my God. It's so addicting. It really is.
It is so addicting. Whether you play 5e, which is what we play, or you do like a one-off zombie apocalypse survival story. It's just...
I've done that.
Yeah. And that was like my best... one of my best highlights as a player was a zombie apocalypse story, and I rolled a natural 20 right when it was needed. Like on the line, had to make it, and everyone jumps up and screams. It's just the best feeling in the world.
Of course.
But my first real character that stuck with me, who I actually sunk time into, was my human bard character, who I said about earlier. I wrote literally like 4 pages of backstory and all his personality traits and all that stuff. I really went hard for that one, and it was such a good campaign while it lasted, but it ended because Corona started.
Yeah.
And we all got sent home from our dorms, and we couldn't stay at school anymore. And then after that, it's kind of just fizzled out. Kind of sad, but, that's just been how it goes. And while I was there, I dabbled a little bit in DMing. I never fully... Because I was always... It's a daunting task to DM anything.
Yes, of course.
Really.
But a lot of people... Sorry, don't mean to
No, go for
it. Like, a lot of people don't actually realize I haven't DM'd before and still kind of new to the game. And maybe even long-term just players don't realize how much DMs put in behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, I know I'm I've put in probably like 20 hours into the 2 campaigns I'm in, and only I'm only 4 sessions total in all of them. So, and that's just saying something.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's
right.
just it's a time hole that you gotta like sink like your free time into, and even if you like do say you're like, oh damn, I forgot to like write anything for today, you still gotta do the 30 minutes that you can to write, and then the whole entire time you gotta be improving. You got to be on your toes, ready for anything, and that's honestly where the hardest part comes from. And it's DMing isn't a natural skill, I would say, but there is some talent involved in being able to riff and improv and come up with things on the fly.
Yeah, of course. And something that really does help out with that is having a flushed out like word and stuff like that. Like, and you also have to realize, even if you make the dumbest character or NPC out of nowhere, your players may stick to that NPC and drag them out to be a main character for your entire session.
Oh boy, do we know that.
Oh god, it is way too much.
So from that, let's talk about our sessions that we're DMing currently.
Yes.
You go first.
I'll go first. I'll be honest. This isn't the first session that I've ever DM'd. I did a zombie apocalypse one-off, and my players didn't know how to roleplay. They went into it and they're like, I kept being like, so what do you want to do? And they were just, they didn't really dive into the characters. And I don't blame them. It was all their first time ever playing anything D&D related. It happens, but it was to a point where like an hour and a half in, I shouldn't, like, after you just got in a huge combat, shouldn't have to ask, what are you doing?
Yeah, just be like, so what do you want to do now?
Yeah. That's what it got to. It just got to, like, okay, like, I guess I'll drive the narrative on.
Yeah. That's a thing with new players, is because no matter how much you know about D&D, starting role play, it's kind of awkward at first.
It is.
Yeah, you got to get used to the fact that you're playing a character and you're in a different world rather than just being yourself. And some players are more able to like lean into that easier. Some players have a little bit of a tougher time. But I always think it helps if like there is a skilled role player at the table, because then it kind of incentivizes everyone else to be like, okay, they're kind of doing it, so maybe I can do it as well.
Yeah, I mean, alcohol helps as well.
Oh,
in
yeah.
that situation.
It loosens some things up.
Yeah, it breaks those social barriers of like, oh, we're not like being paid for this, so why are we doing this?
Yeah, like why are you screaming and yelling about your fallen mother? Or something like
exactly. That. But to get back on topic here, because I tend to diverge a lot, so feel free to grab me on that at any time.
Hey, this podcast is all about diverging.
True. But my session is in the beautiful world of Mula, and it is separated into 5 continents.
This is all homebrew, right?
Homebrew, 5e basis, but
yeah, mechanics.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I actually don't. What is like homebrew really like?
I think in my head, I don't know, because I guess everyone has a different definition of homebrew.
Yeah, of course.
But in my head, homebrew is anything that's not in the book. So, like, if you come up with your own world, like, I'd say my world is homebrew, but I stick very rigidly to 5e mechanics.
Oh, yeah. I think mechanics, I stick to 5e, no question. But, like, is there a set word for D&D?
Yeah, you can buy stories, like books that highlight.
Yeah, like pre-made, like, adventures and stuff. But
exactly.
Like, but is there, like, a main word? Like, for World of Warcraft, it's Azeroth. Everyone is on Azeroth.
I'm embarrassed because I have the books and I've totally read them, but I'm pretty sure there is. I just can't come up with a name. I'm pretty sure if you open the book and it's literally like the first page, it says like "Welcome to the world of blank," but don't quote me on that.
I'm trying. We got the player's handbook right here. Of course.
Yeah, we're gonna do some studying. Lord Myer.
Introduction.
But yeah, so
yeah, I don't. Just skimming through it, I don't see anything, but maybe it's in like the Dungeons Masters. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you can totally stick to the actual place and time frame that D&D is set in, but it's all a big sandbox for you to take your toys and move them in a different way. But what were you saying about your world with the 5 continents?
Yes, so I have 5 continents, and the only session that was ran so far, so I can't go back, but there was 5 continents. One is completely plagued by dragons, because the world to the dragon realm has been opened by a high-level council of wizards.
Newly opened, right?
Newly open within the past 20 years. So dragonborns are not in my world yet, which is really fucking cool. Like, and I know dragonborns are a great race, but I thought it was cool to limit a thing that eventually, if it does go like 30 years down the line in that campaign, someone may fuck a dragon.
And that's how they make a dragon born.
I'm just waiting for one bold bard.
Hey, it's got to be a bard. Who else could it be?
I mean, yeah, exactly. Because you have to be strong enough to fend it off if you're on that one.
Uh-huh.
But
that charisma, though.
yeah. But basically, my world is, in most major like his fantasy worlds, all the continents are constantly at war. They all hate each other because of race and et cetera, et cetera. But it's separated by, like, the orcs and ogres have their own side. Like, they have their own, like, continent. The druids, and I'm not going to say elves particularly because there are some elves on another continent, but they have, like, I'm not going to keep going into it, but you get the idea. This like, the continents are separated mainly by race and kind of what they do. So, like, druids take one whole continent, mages have one whole, fighters have thing, and then there's, like, the mass population where dwarves, gnomes, humans, tieflings, goblins, all of them live on one continent.
Right.
And then the middle island was like the peace area. Everyone went there for peace, and it got destroyed. And yeah. Well, maybe if you, I'm getting a little sidetracked. I'm trying to keep a straight head right here. I don't want to give too much away because Jake.
I am a player character.
He is a player character, so I'm trying not to give too much away. But the concept is really cool. I like the idea. Let's hear about yours.
Yeah, so we've been running mine for a while now. I think we started it like the first week we moved into where we are living, right?
Yeah. Just to say one piece, I can't say too much because my campaign is fairly new. Like with Jake's campaign, we have worked on it. We've been playing it for over.
We are on
12 weeks.
Yes, we are coming on session 11.5. So we might have done more than 11 sit-downs. We've definitely done more than 11 sit-downs. It might have been around 13 or 14 sit-downs just because you guys, I'm not singling anyone out. I don't think you do this, but some people in my campaign's party like to get a little sidetracked with mischief.
Yeah. I've been known to do that occasionally, but it's all for good cause when I do it.
Right. Yeah. My campaign is. I think we've been trying to brainstorm a name for it. I think Quest for the Everstone is the thing that has been the main.
Well, I think that's the name of the campaign, but we don't have a party name.
Yeah, you guys don't have a party name. There's been a lot of back and forth on what the name should be.
And I do not approve of it.
There's been a lot of vetoes that have happened. No one can agree.
All of them are from me. All these vetoes are from me.
And I will say I do kind of have a little bit of a say in them, too. I won't accept crazy answers, but it definitely has to be unanimous. But yeah, my campaign is called Quest for the Everstone, and it's set in a
nice little crack. Wait for it. There it is.
That looks like a good Coca-Cola you got there. What do we got? ASMR now?
Yeah. I got you.
Very nice. Very nice. Wow.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, so...
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
It's okay. A little bit of a soda break. So, yeah, it's set in, like, the vanilla D&D world. Sword and Shield Knights, dragons, orcs are the bad guys. This was my first time doing a very full session, and I didn't want to do anything that would be like way too hard for me to keep track of, just because I do consider myself still a new DM. So I wanted it to just be a story that's set in a world everyone is familiar with.
Yeah.
Like there's bandits, there's kingdoms, there's evildoers, there's cultists, all that stuff is there. But yeah, we've been playing for a solid, I'd say 13, 14 weeks now. It's going great. It's a lot of fun for me. I can't speak for you.
Yeah, I have a great time. I mean, I have a little problem with a certain player character, not the person itself, but with the player character itself. And we solved that issue very recently, actually.
Yeah, that was actually on a God, what was it, like a week ago?
Yeah, it was like a week ago. We did a sidebar session while we were extremely drunk.
Yeah, we had some soda in us.
What
No, I'm just messing around. So yeah,
road soda.
we were, yeah, exactly. No. While we
don't
were
drink and
safe
drive,
at
kids.
home, and we had a few drinks, stuff got a little heated between Myer and this particular person about their characters in D&D. And I don't know who suggested it, but I
did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, because I was just like I get, like, I'm an argumentative person, and I think people get that, but it's all passion, it's love, and nothing ever is hatred when I argue, and I think people that know me know that at this point. But I was when we argue, it kind of delays the party a bit, and that's where, like, and it's not just me that argues. There's other arguments with other player characters that I'm not involved with.
Yeah, it's never a single person who is holding up the party. It always happens sometimes, usually through natural occurrences. I think the thing it comes down to is just when you have big personalities at a table, it definitely those personalities tend to clash.
Yeah, and it definitely shies others away, especially if someone likes to take the mic a lot.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm guilty of taking the mic a lot, and so because I'm just like, because my guy's a very bold front out in.
Do you want to explain your character?
Yeah, I'd love to explain Lord Myer.
Lord Myer, yeah.
Lord Myer, which is also my current name, but Lord Myer originates the name. Just Lord Myer was my first RuneScape character name, and my dad made it. It's a great. Back to the point. He is a paladin. He worshipped the god of pain.
Yeah, which is kind of odd for a paladin.
Yeah, I would say it was a bit neutral evil, or chaotic good. What?
In a way, you were kind of like chaotic. You were definitely chaotic in some way.
Yeah.
But your morals definitely shifted based on the situation.
Yeah. So I was, in the sense, I was a pretty brutal paladin, more than most paladins are. But I went through a life-altering moment as Lord Myer.
Yeah.
And he died.
He did die.
But luckily there was a resurrection stone nearby.
That was a fun session. You saved the king of Housden.
Yep.
And drove away cult members that were disguised as king's guards.
Yeah.
And you and the rest of the party, you used your dying health to rescue the king from death.
If you don't know how paladins work necessarily, we have this ability called a Lay of Hands, and you get a mana pool of, it is 5 times your paladin level. So I was level 4 at the time, I think.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was level 4, so I had 20 healing left, so I could heal people 20 HP. And I used it all because we just fought a giant ogre. Oh, was it a Cyclops?
It was, it was a big guy with a club.
Yeah, so we fought a very large person. And
in a gladiatorial arena with like all the citizens of Housden there cheering.
Was sick.
It was really cool. Yeah. I was proud of myself.
I was naked the whole time too.
Yeah, because you were captured.
I was captured, because I was being an idiot and got captured by the King's Guard, and they just threw me into the pit naked. So I had improvised weapons the entire time. Thank God I was proficient in most of them that I picked up.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the king, some things happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave a little mystery in there. Some things happened, and the king fell from his tower. You know how you have these big arenas out sit there, and they say yay or nay, and you kill the person or whatever. Yeah. The king fell off the tower, and
he sacrificed himself.
Yeah, he
you remember
sacrificed.
That? Yeah. He was basically corrupted by dark magic, and in an act of rebellion against it, he manifested strength enough to throw himself off the tower.
Yep. And so, in my act of boldness, I had no more mana pool left for my Lay of Hands, but I had 1 HP because I got revived by a druid, was it?
Was it Tofnar?
Not druid. That was Shaylee.
Oh, no, Shaylee's the druid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone revived me.
Someone revived you.
And I was unconscious. I woke up. I had 1 hit point, and I ran over. And as a paladin, you can sacrifice your health points to heal people.
Is that true, or is it a homebrew of ours?
I think it might be true, but if I'm wrong, it's homebrew.
Yeah, it makes it more fun.
Yeah, it makes it more fun. So I took 3 health points because I didn't know how damaged he was.
Mm-hmm.
And I took 3 health points when I had 1, which killed off my death saving throws, and I died a true death.
Yeah, I guess that would have killed you instantly.
Yeah, because technically,
no, it's half of your max health.
It's if it is your full max health past your unconsciousness. So say I get hit, say I have 10 hit points, so I get hit for 30, I'm dead.
Yeah. That's
no death saving throws. That person is dead.
Insta dead.
Yeah. So that's basically how it goes down.
Yeah.
And we played it for narrative a bit because I had to change my alignment.
Yeah, this was all planned. It wasn't it wasn't planned 100%. It was still like a spur of the moment, but me as a DM knew what you wanted to do in this moment.
Yeah, which also, that's one thing that is very great. You need to talk to your DMs if you have a problem with your character.
Communicate.
Yeah, communication is key.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that I was kind of evil, but I also didn't want to be goody two-shoes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I died, talked to some gods, tried to punch one in the face.
Yeah.
Saw my mother, which was dead.
Yeah.
And then I got resurrected to a ungrateful party.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
There were some great moments, and those 2 sessions are definitely a highlight for the Everstone campaign because, one, it was the gladiatorial arena scene where everyone tried to jump into the arena because our ranger got captured for doing really dumb things.
For a second time, let me clarify.
And then you died, and the next session was the funeral of Lord Myer, where you were knighted and housed in posthumously. And
God, my title for my character is so long.
Do you want to say your title?
I am Lord Myer of the Heavybeard clan, Knight of Houston.
Sir Knight of Houston, right?
Sir Knight of Houston. I have the longest title of any D&D character. If someone has a better one, please let me know.
Yeah, please comment.
Yeah,
that's so funny. But yeah, no, there's the funeral. The king said some words. The party also said some words, which debating on whether they were useful words or not.
Yeah, maybe that wasn't the best idea to let the party improv a speech for. To be honest, we've played about 14 weeks in real life, but in actuality, we're only 3 or 4 days into it.
No. You guys are definitely
a week.
No, you guys are a solid 3 to 4 weeks into your party.
Either way, we don't know each other well. Let's put it that way.
Sure. Yeah, you guys haven't had to sit down at a fire in the woods and had a heart to heart.
As earlier I said my real name as my character's real name, and he said that was a spoiler, but that's because no one else in the party knows that except for one person knows my first name.
Which you just gave it away.
I gave it away, last week out of an actual session. It wasn't a real session. It was a sidebar session to solve this solution.
Which, let me just say, I had so much fun with that.
I don't remember half of it.
That's fine, but do you remember me like playing epic music, like Lord of the Rings music behind
it was great.
and being like the fires stoke behind you as the wind picks up and slashes at your feet?
I do remember I got a little embarrassed afterwards because I got super pissed. Right. Because I was pouring my heart out as a character, like giving the shit that I should never give like that freely. Mm-hmm. Without either a zone of truth on me or a blade to my throat, but it was in character and it made sense for the character. Yeah, I got so mad because I kept getting interrupted, but that was also his character is an interrupting type of person.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
I was kind of childish about it. I'll be honest, and I regret that at this point, but nonetheless, it was a.
It goes back to the two big personalities thing.
Exactly. We're definitely some of the biggest. And the only other big personality we have has nothing to do with, like... We're talking about Bruce here.
Oh, Bruce?
Bruce.
I thought you were talking about Alduin.
No. It's definitely Bruce.
Our ranger.
Yeah, our ranger is...
He is a... you think bards are horny.
Oh,
wait till you meet this guy.
His backstory is that he stole his father's dick. And he stole his father's dick and had a mage surgically attach it to his, so he has twice as long as a dick.
His dick is like 12 to 14 inches long.
It's one of the funniest backstories I've ever heard of any D&D.
Oh, and the reason why everyone knows that is because, one, he likes to show it off like a new tattoo.
It actually hangs out from his kilt. Yeah. He wears a kilt, and it hangs out on the bottom of his kilt.
But also, during the death of Lord Myer, after the funeral, the king asked them all to meet him in the wine cellar. And once they were all down there, they met up, and he offered them a stone of resurrection, that if they went to this place and passed trials inside, they would come to the stone of resurrection. And that was a lot of fun for me because I got to write in all these moments where all the characters suddenly vanish and they wake up either in the past or in another place. And one of them was... and they had to come to a realization, a profound moment, where they either realize something about themselves or something about the world around them. And Bruce's was really funny because it was him during an intercourse with a I guess what's the word? A prostitute.
A lady of the night.
A lady of the night. Yeah, that's a much nicer way to put it.
Yes.
And the ghost of his father came to him,
why he was with this lady of the night,
requesting that he give his dick back.
Yes, his half of the penis back.
And it ended with Bruce reconciling that he just wanted to be like his father, and them holding each other as they weep.
It was definitely interesting, to say the least. It would be really cool if that character does die, he comes back as his brother and attaches that penis onto his.
Oh, whoa.
So he has like a 3 times as long penis.
Wow, I got to write that down. Well, I'm going to edit this later, so I'll remember it.
Yeah, of course. But, so, I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure thing.
What is your favorite skill check?
Oh, my favorite skill check. See...
One to give out as a DM and one to have as a player.
That's a great question. I really do. So what do we got? We got strength, dexterity.
We can pull up the character sheet.
Intelligence,
tab right
wisdom, charisma, and constitution.
Oh, I'm talking about like investigation,
Oh,
perception.
I thought you just meant like
I'm
one
talking,
of those checks.
I'm talking...
Okay, well, let's do the just regular checks first, and then we'll move on to the other checks.
Okay, yeah, we'll do both. We'll do both.
And
make sure you hit what you like as given out as a DM, and was doing as a player.
Okay, so as many people who play D&D have found out or know, if you play a specific character, there is only one, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's only one skill check that has to do with strength, and that's athletics.
It's not anything else, is it?
I'm pretty sure there's only one skill check for strength.
Can you...
It's in the back of the player's handbook.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's check.
But, yeah, so a lot of the times is if you...
I didn't even know this was back here.
Yeah,
Oh
isn't that nice? If you play as a character who's based around strength, a lot of the time you won't be getting your strength checked unless it's a saving throw. And I really like to give athletics checks because it's such a skill that, like, imagine, right? There's only one.
Athletics is the only one that is strength.
Yeah, so I kind of feel bad as someone who is currently playing a character that is strength only. You remember when I was like, can it be strength? There was a competition where we had a race.
Oh yeah, it's athletics and acrobatics. Those are the two like
and it's strength and
types.
dex.
Yeah, it's strength and dex.
Yeah. And you asked us to roll for
acrobatics.
And I was like, can it be athletics, please?
And I was sitting there, I'm like, just do what I say, trust me.
Which eventually worked out.
Yeah, because I, as the NPC that they were going against, rolled a crit fail.
Yeah.
So it worked out in his favor. But
so I really like to saving throw strength because not a lot of people put mind into strength. But also as a skill check, investigate's a great one. Acrobatics is fine. Constitution's such a good skill check to give people.
Yeah.
Like, give me a Constitution saving throw is so funny every time.
Yeah, because you don't know what it is. Like, sometimes it could be so vague.
Yeah.
You're like, you could literally just be walking down the street. Can I get a Constitution saving throw from the party?
And you're like, what?
The scariest ones to me, like, I will say my favorite to him, but like the scariest are wisdom saving throws.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's instantly magic is attacking you right there, and you're in trouble.
Well, let me give you my favorite instance of a saving throw I've had to give in the Everstone campaign. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
But Bruce and Pierce, two of our player characters, Bruce being the ranger and Pierce being the rogue, immediately get into a new kingdom and run. Not even walk over, run.
Yeah, they actually full out sprinted. They clarified that. I remember that.
They ran to the whorehouse.
The Lady of the Night House.
The Lady of the Night House. And they go inside and immediately actually they get a woman of the other person's race.
It was actually quite funny. One's a tiefling and one is a elf. A wood elf.
Pierce is a halfling.
Sorry.
And wood elf is Bruce.
Wood elf, yeah. And they were like, okay, let's go for all opposite. Like
each other's race.
The halfling went with an elf and the elf went with a halfling. And it was there was some sexual tension there that they need to solve at some point.
But later on, as a DM, and I think is my right to, I asked them to give me a Constitution save because you are sleeping with ladies of the night, and that is their job to be ladies of the night.
And back in the 1600s, 1400s.
It's whenever. It's just medicine is not
as good as it is now.
As good as it is now, and diseases ran amok. And I want to say Bruce, the ranger, rolled not great, and I think I gave him like the clap or something like that. Something that went away.
Yeah, you got chlamydia.
Yeah, something that went away. Pierce, however, rolled a natural 1 on a Constitution saving throw after sleeping
with the Lady of the Night.
So I, as a DM, gave him advanced herpes. Now, I didn't hear the end of this until actually the one-off session that we did last week when during the one-off, Pierce and Lord Myer had a very great heart-to-heart that I felt went really well, and they were both visited by spirits from their past and granted something, and I cured his advanced herpes.
which is a blessing in disguise.
Exactly. But yeah, that's one of my favorite stories of a saving throw check. What about you? What are your favorite skill checks, saving throw checks, and like in universe? What has been your favorite?
Absolutely love charisma skill checks as a player, because if I play it right, I can I feel like agree with me if this is true to you, but if I give like an actual convincing moment, let's say I'm trying to haggle someone,
sure,
on whatever the item may be, and I actually give, like, you would actually in real life, if I was trying to get you to come down on the price, if I convince you well enough in a character where you would in real life actually bring down your price, like as a DM, I would be like, that was really fucking good, roll with advantage.
Sure, yeah.
Like
to actually role play, like I'll do this for you, I'll give you this. How about that?
Yeah, and like actually make it very convincing. If someone makes a charisma, like if they'll lead in themselves into a charisma check and they are very convincing about it, like in character, and I feel like I would be convinced in real life about it, they always roll at advantage. So that's why I like charismas, because I try my best to see if I can convince the DM that this is what that NPC wants.
And that's a really fun use of in world or IRL roleplay.
Yeah.
That's a thing I really appreciate as someone who does DM, that applying it to your speech and not just being like, I try to convince him this.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, okay, how do you want to convince him? And actually give a little bit of a 30-second speech, not even a 30-second, just like a 10-second spiel on why you think you should deserve this. That's great. It encourages role play, and it also makes you a better player.
Exactly. And now my favorite thing as a DM to give out is I love when people ask for insight checks. So as a DM, I think I need to do this more, but I need to know people's backstories a bit more.
Sure.
And if I do that, if someone be like, do I believe him to another player character, they can roll an insight check. And if they roll really high, I could walk over and tell them if they're telling the truth, like whisper in the ear, and be like, yeah, no, this guy's fucking lying to you through his teeth. And then that one player character will know that one player character is lying to his teeth, and then that could be a tension that they have.
Yeah, and that's another thing to bring up is in the Everstone campaign, there has been a lot of infighting. Not saying it was caused by any one thing or anyone like that.
No, I mean, we... I have to mention this because
well, let me finish my thought first, and then we can get to your. I know what you're going to talk about.
Okay, good.
But say one player character says, I want to go over to the other player character in front of me and grab his coin purse and run away. Me as a DM, I cannot roll for a player character. I cannot say, okay, you roll for sleight of hand. I would say to the player character, okay, do you want that person who just tried to sleight of hand you to sleight of hand you? Because I think that gives an incentive to either one, role play, or two, if that player really doesn't want to do that, then they don't have to.
Yeah, of course. And more what I was trying to say with the insight thing was just...
I'm not saying it's equal to what you were saying.
No, I know. I'm just to clarify it, because I felt like I butchered it a bit, would be like, let's say, like, are you like, let's say you're someone and I'm like, hey, are you what, like, are you someone that is running from the law? Like, do you have something to hide? And you hit me with a, no, I'm fine, I'm completely normal. I'm like, I look at DM, do I believe him?
Yes.
And let's say I roll a nat 20. The DM like should know a little bit about your history and should be able to tell me, because I rolled a nat 20, but not the rest of the party, because that's a secret.
Yeah.
And I will know if that's true or not. And I don't have to bring it up as a character right then. I could just know it.
Yeah, that's just internal for
Yeah,
you.
exactly. And maybe I do bring it up. I could be like, what the fuck, dude? You're lying to me. I can see it in your face.
Yeah.
But either way, that's more what I meant by it.
Yeah. And obviously, I would let the other player be like, okay, let's play this out. Why don't you roll for deception?
Yeah. And that's if they, yeah, of course. But, that kind of gives away that, though. Never mind. As we're going into, we're talking about if a player character wants something to happen. And I have a very interesting moment. We've talked about party fighting and in party fighting.
Yeah. Which is to be expected.
Yeah. Well, not to the extent of some cases. One of our player characters have died by another player character.
2 of them, actually.
Did I?
No, I think
Alduin was killed by Pierce.
Alduin was killed by Pierce, and you killed Pierce.
Oh, okay. That's why I was asking, did I kill
You did
Pierce?
kill Pierce.
Okay. Well,
But you immediately revived him.
yeah. I mean, me killing Pierce was very understandable because I was sleeping on the church what are they called? Pew? Pew. I was sleeping on the church pew.
This is like session 3.
Yeah, session 3.
Actually, no, it's session 2.
Session 2. It was session 2. Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
And the previous night, Alduin was killed.
Yeah, in session 1.
Yeah, and so session 2, I was sleeping on the church pew, and Pierce thought it was a good idea to teabag me while I was asleep because I'm a heavy sleeper, my character. And Jake asked me, do you want this to happen? And I'm like, yes, but I'm not going to say if I react or not.
Okay, yeah.
And so I let it happen, and I woke up instinctually and attacked. And I believe I rolled a nat 20. When
you rolled, if not a nat 20, really high.
Really high, and I drew my sword and I stabbed the nutsack. And I cut his nut off.
Yeah, you punctured his testicles.
Yes, and after that, he did not give up. Any person that gets their nut cut off, they're not backing down at that point.
No, yeah, like, it's all out.
It's a fight to the death. There's no talking this way out of it.
Yeah.
So at that point, a paladin, if a rogue isn't sneaking, a paladin's more powerful.
100%. Yeah.
So it was a face-on-face fight while the party was watching in the church. So, and
yeah,
I slaughtered them. But as soon as he died, I literally I think I was pretty close. I think I punched him, and then I stabbed him in the process of it, and then I healed him with the hand I punched him with.
Yeah, you downed him, and then you were immediately like, I lay of hands, and I bring him back.
It was pretty annoying though, because I want to duel my teammates more, but in a safe environment.
Yeah, that was actually a fight rather than a duel, a spar.
But I feel like at this point, as the history that we have as a party, asking someone to duel seems like a real fight at this point.
Yeah, I mean, well, I should say that on multiple occasions, characters have died.
Yes, we've rolled. Before we changed the system, we had a crit fail was a death. Like if you rolled a nat 1 on a death save, that was a instant death.
Death.
We've changed that since then. It's now 2 death saves.
It's 2 failures, yeah, which I feel works way better.
Way better. But beforehand, we didn't have that. Mm-hmm. And I think at least 3 people have died because of that.
Tofnar
has died.
Bruce.
Shaylee's died from that.
I want to say Bruce has, and I want to say Pierce has.
Tofnar has not died.
Oh, so Tofnar hasn't.
No, we've talked about this. Tofnar has not died. So Bruce has, Pierce has, because that's
in the
Alduin did. When Pierce killed Alduin, he rolled a nat 1. Yep.
So yeah, and me being a DM and on first session having someone roll a 1 on a death save, I'm like, oh fuck, god damn it, why did this have to happen?
I had that happen to me as well on my first session of my campaign, and it was the person that plays Tofnar. I don't remember his other player character's name. Do you?
He's like an old man, I want to say. I don't know what he is. I forget.
He plays a warlock, so I don't.
It would probably be in my journal, which is right here, but we don't need to.
We'll refer to as Tofnar for now.
Yeah,
because that's what they are.
We'll just say Jared's character.
Oh yeah, because we did mention Jared earlier.
Yeah.
But he like the first encounter they got with instantly went down. I think like round 2 they went down.
Yeah, and it was just a couple bandits, right?
Yeah, it was a couple bandits, nothing crazy. Instantly rolled on that one.
Yeah. Which, if something bad's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
which you just got to know that it's going to happen. But, yeah, so we've since changed that, which is so much more of a relief. But to be a DM on the first session and have a character die,
oh my God.
It's nerve-wracking. And, I just started giving out freebies because I don't want to kill my players. I don't get DMs who go out of their way to kill their players. Like, it shouldn't be players versus DM. It should be DM and players versus the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, you also got to think the DM is the world as well.
That's true, but just being completely antagonistic to your party at all times is not fun for anyone.
I think it's only fun if it's established before you guys go into a session. Like, before you even start a campaign.
Oh, yeah, that you're playing hardcore mode?
It'd be like, hey, I'm coming to kill you. You better be smart. You better survive.
Yeah.
And be ready to reroll characters.
Yeah, but as us, so when we first started, let's see. Should we just say our roommates' names and stuff?
We'll keep it.
We'll keep character names.
Yeah, character names for now.
So, 3 of our characters, Shaylee, Alduin, and Bruce,
yep,
all have never played D&D
and
before.
I've had very little experience prior. I've only had 1 session.
Yeah, and Pierce, I would say, was the most experienced out of all of you, and he's played. I can't speak for him, but I think I have played the most D&D out of everyone.
Yeah,
here.
well, Tough Nose played a little bit prior too because he was in that other session with you.
Yeah.
So but
the point is that 3 players have never played D&D.
Yeah, so it's been really hard, and we've had some issues with their characters as well now because, and I'm not saying that's on them. It's just how a first character goes.
No, yeah, and playing a D&D for the first time is daunting. Like we talked about in the beginning, role playing and stuff like that. It does feel awkward to start off. And my point of this whole thing was saying that one of the new characters, one of the new players, died immediately. And to just be like, oh, well, you died, make a new character, isn't fun for anyone. No. I'd rather just give them a freebie and be like, you don't fail your death save. You get back up.
Yeah, well, I res them. I have resed everyone at this point except for Tofnar.
Yeah.
And myself. I have not resed myself.
The other players have resed you.
Yes. It was a group effort. Yeah. So I think it's fair.
Yeah.
We gave everyone a res, and I got it paid back. Now we just got to wait for Tofnar to die.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, that's all the skill check talk that we have, right? Unless you want to add anything else to skills.
I don't think I added my favorite one to give out.
Oh yeah, go for it.
I don't know if I did. If I did, I'm gonna say it again.
Yeah, let's go through it.
But my favorite one to give out is wisdom saving throws are really good to stir up the pot to see how people react. But I gotta look forward to make sure. I really, really like when people do something dumb. Performance check.
Ah, yes. Performance checks are so fun.
Especially when people aren't expecting them. Like, if someone was like, I'm trying to think of an example where I would put a performance check where people wouldn't expect it. Oh. Someone says, yeah, I'm going to sneak out the back of the bar drunkenly and go take a piss. Can you make a performance check for me?
Yeah. And it is up to DM's discrepancy because you could also say, okay, make me a dex save.
Yeah.
But you have fun as a DM. You can literally do whatever you want.
I like to I haven't done it much because we haven't played my sessions much, but I love and to mess with my players a bit. Nothing that would actually harm them or ever get them in a terrible situation.
Just keep them on their toes.
Yeah, just more of to be like, a what?
Yeah, sure.
What are you doing? Or either to insinuate a hilarious role playing moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they may not have to play into it, but it could. It very, very much could go into a very funny role playing moment. But I haven't. I love playing D&D so much, and I've been searching Reddit and other things to find online D&D sessions that I can join.
Yeah.
Just because I want to play D&D 7 days a week.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing to find these days, just because, especially either with COVID or just being our age, being like early to mid 20-year-olds, it's just everyone's busy all the time, and we've barely found a way to play, even though we all live together, except for one of us who is very close to us, so we know he's safe at all times from COVID and all that stuff. But just finding a time and day that I assume that's what every D&D group goes through, is time and day, when can everyone play?
Yeah, and it's a very tough thing, and it's funny enough we say this because we're pulling into a D&D session right now.
Yeah, we're going to play a new session, first session.
Of the same word Mila, but 20 years before the other session that we mentioned before.
Right.
And it is before the giant escaping of the dragon realm.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
That sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
But yeah, I think we've been wanting to do this podcast for a really long time.
Yeah.
Because there's been multiple nights where me and Myer just like either watch a movie or just hang out, and then we just talk about D&D for an hour straight without even like realizing it.
Yeah, I last time I looked at I was looking at the record now. Last time I looked at it, it was like 10 minutes, and I just looked at it again, and it's 56 minutes, I think.
Yeah, it's about an hour.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, time really did fly. I was not thinking about it. And we've had so many good conversations, like just sitting downstairs and like after post-movie, pre-movie, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm. Post-session, post-D&D session.
And just sitting there talking about D&D, and I am very much excited to see what moments we capture on this podcast about just talking about D&D or whatever else may occur, because we are D&D heavy, but I don't think that's the only thing we will ever discuss ever.
No, yeah, I definitely want to discuss other things because we both have different interests. Aside from having similar interests, like I'm very much into film and movies and stuff like that, and you're very much into video games and MMOs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna get to like talk about all those other things. Myer, I need to ask you something. Do you have a monologue of madness that you want to finish off with?
This is going to be a little bit we have, and I'll be honest with it. There's something that I want to talk about that I fucking love about D&D. I don't know much about it, but it's the fucking astral plane.
Yeah.
And Jake, you can account for this. I talk a lot of D&D, but how many times that we've talked that I've mentioned the astral plane?
Oh, at least 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, I will mention the astral plane. The astral plane is next level insane. And there's a few ways. If you don't know what the astral plane is, the astral plane is a moment in between time and space itself, which only a few high-level wizards, or not just wizards, a few high, powerful beings have ever entered and returned from. Some have entered and not returned.
Yeah.
And it's very easy for items to enter the thing. And one of the ways to start the astral plane or open a portal to the astral plane is to take a bag of holding and put it inside of a bag of holding.
Yeah, we just had a long conversation about bags of holding last week, I want to say.
Yeah, and it opens a rift to the astral plane.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal is, on any campaign, and I don't know, Jake's probably going to hate me after I say this, but my goal is to enter the astral plane at one point in time on a D&D character naturally.
Right.
And I don't know when it's going to happen. I hope it happens when I'm at high level
Yeah,
so I
right.
don't get fucked. But, like, I always thought about, like, all the things that have been lost in the astral plane over the years of people playing D&D from the 80s, I would really like to see that embedded into someone's D&D session if they ever like got into the astral plane. And I think as a DM, I think I will personally do that. Like if you open the astral plane and a character walks into the astral plane, if they are able to get out of the astral plane, they have the opportunity to take anything. Basically, it will be a free shop of magical items, beasts.
That have all been sent to the astral plane?
Has all been sent. And it will be anything at any point. Because at one point, a certain item has been sent to the astral plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like anything that has ever been thought of has been sent to the astral plane at one point.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people that have played D&D over the 25 years that D&D has been a thing. So, well, more than 25 years. It's 2020 in the 80s, so 40 years.
40 years, yeah.
40 years of items entering the astral plane.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, and it'd be really cool to see if a character can actually enter the astral plane and make it out alive.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and that's my little monologue about the astral plane. I'll definitely talk about it more once I know more.
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess I'm going to have to research more about the astral plane, too, and maybe I can incorporate that into the Everstone campaign.
Just give me really 2 bags of holding. That's all you need to do.
Which I think that brings us to our D&D tip of the night, which is communicate with your DM. We mentioned that earlier, but it's always the best thing you could possibly do. If you have a player character that doesn't gel with the party, or you feel like you are being ignored by the party, or in any instance that you feel that maybe you're not having as much fun, I always give the tip is talk to your DM.
Yeah, maybe you don't like your class anymore. There could be a way that you transition from a paladin to maybe a cleric or whatever the case may be. Like it's possible.
In your case, you didn't like your character's alignment, and we worked together to come up with a way for your character to change from worshiping one god to worshiping another.
Yeah, and that was really cool because like I realized worshiping a chaotic evil god is probably not the best for a character because you like a paladin because you would be chaotic evil in yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you follow the laws of your god as a paladin, and if you don't, you repent and you pay for your sins.
Yeah. So yeah, just to reiterate, D&D tip of the night: talk to your DM. I think that's all. That's from all from us over at the Dudes Roll podcast. I guess we could say goodbye. Myer, do you want to plug anything?
Yeah, I'm just gonna, obviously check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Dudes Roll. Keep it nice and simple. If you want to be so generous and check out my Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Lord Myer. But that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm not really on social media or Twitch or anything like that. I kind of keep myself off that for my own sanity.
Yeah, understandably so.
But this podcast is going to be something we sink a lot of time into. And now with us doing all the other D&D stuff we're going to do, we're going to have a lot more to talk about from week to week, this will probably be a weekly podcast, maybe even more than once a week if we feel like it.
Yeah, or we may take an hiatus. There's no schedule to this.
No schedule. This is the first episode, and it was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Yeah, so I think this is where we say goodbye to you. Stay safe out there, travelers.
and roll well.